Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV in conjunction with Colfax High School presents Viking pregame. A look at today's Colfax Vikings girls game. And now, Viking pregame.
Good evening and welcome to the NLWN-TV studios, where tonight the Vikings are getting ready to take on the Spring Valley Cardinals. Rick Olson here, and soon I'll head over to the school and join Dan Petchow as we're getting ready to bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's Dunn St. Croix Conference game right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Tonight's game is an important one as the Vikings hope to maintain their position atop the Dunn St. Croix Conference, while the Cardinals are looking to get back into the conference race. Now, coming up in this edition of Viking pregame, we'll take a look at tonight's matchup between the Spring Valley Cardinals and the Colfax Vikings. Then we'll get Coach Sarar's perspective on tonight's game in Coach's Corner. Following that, we'll bring all the play-by-play action of tonight's game. So, it's time to get ready for some exciting high school girls basketball. All that coming up right after this brief timeout. You're tuned to Viking pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to Viking pregame, where Dan Petchow and I are getting ready to bring you all the action of tonight's girls basketball game between the 1-7 Spring Valley Cardinals and the 4-3 Colfax Vikings. A Viking victory tonight would keep them tied in the loss column with the Durand Panthers for the Dunn St. Croix Conference lead. Now, last Thursday, the Vikings were able to stay in that first place tie in the Dunn St. Croix Conference with Durand by defeating the Boyceville Bulldogs 66-29. Leading the way in scoring for the Vikings in that game was junior swing forward Madison Barstead, who scored 19 points. She was followed by senior Marissa Harmon, who added 11, and Emily Bertram Schofield and Addison Olson each contributed 7. The Viking leaders thus far this season are Barstead, who's averaging 14 points per game, followed by freshman McKenna Shipman, who's averaging nearly 8 points per game. They're followed by seniors Abby Irwin and Addison Olson, who are averaging just over 5.5 points per game each. Barstead is also the Vikings' leading rebounder, pulling down over 8 boards per game. The Spring Valley Cardinals are a young team with only one senior on the varsity roster. They come into tonight's game with a 1-win, 7-loss overall record and are 1-5 in conference play. The Cardinals are averaging nearly 35.5 points per game while giving up almost 60. They are led in scoring by freshman guard Mara Ducklow, who is putting up almost 8 points per game. And right behind Ducklow is junior guard Allison Graham, who's adding another nearly 6 points per game. The leading rebounder for the Cardinals is senior forward Kyra Schilling, who's pulling down nearly 8 boards per game. Now, coming up next, following this timeout, we'll get the coach's perspective on tonight's game between the Vikings and the Cardinals as we chat with Viking head coach Courtney Sarar on Coach's Corner. You're tuned to Viking pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Being prepared is a part of who you are, but it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
Time now to see what the coaches have to say. It's Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. And now, Coach's Corner.
Today we're talking with Viking head coach Courtney Serrar. And Coach, I think I owe you a bit of an apology because last week I thought after the long holiday break the Vikings would have a lot of rust and likely not look very sharp. But the girls proved me wrong and handily knocked off the Boyceville Bulldogs 66-29. Your comments about that performance?
Yeah, the first half, you could tell we hadn't played a game in a while, but I mean, we got really great shots. We just weren't shooting that well, and we went into the locker room halftime. I just said, you know what, we just need to increase the energy, increase the intensity, and I know our shots will start falling. And sure enough, they did, and I was happy with our victory.
Now tonight, you get to take on the Spring Valley Cardinals, and although they're also struggling a bit, you know that they're hungry. So what can you tell us about the Cardinals?
Yeah, I don't really know a whole lot about them. They start a couple of new freshmen that I'm not sure of. But yeah, like I said, they're hungry, and I know that, they're pretty big, they're long, they're athletic, and they're definitely capable of winning games. So I told the girls, everything that we do is the same. We can always control those things, and we need to just make sure that we play hard, have great energy, box out, and then, the rest of the things will come.
And you know that with the reputation that the Vikings have, everybody brings their A game. And if the Vikings don't bring their A game, the evil stuff might jump up and bite them.
Yeah, definitely. I think with the history in our program, we've always, for a long time had a target on our back, and everybody considers us a great win no matter where they are at in their season. So that's why it's important for us to make sure, that we're ready to play each and every night.
So are there any Vikings who need to bring a little extra to tonight's game?
I was really happy in our Boyceville game with just our balanced scoring. Maddie led us with 19, but then after that, we had a lot of girls with 9, 8, 7 points. And, if we can get that on a consistent basis, I know that we'll be doing really well. So, just keep that consistent scoring. And, at Boyceville, Addie and Marissa had hot hands, and we got them the ball. So I'm anxious to see who has the hot hand tonight. And just, I always say, right away when somebody knocks down a shot, give them another chance. It might be their night tonight.
Now, are there any injury or illness or COVID situations we need to be aware of?
Jill is still out with her ankle injury. So other than that, we're healthy and ready to play, and we're excited to get back on the court.
Well, Coach Serrar, good luck on tonight's game. Hopefully the Vikings will find a way to stay right in the thick of the Dunn-St. Croix Conference race.
Yes, thank you.
You've been listening to Coach's Corner, where they look at tonight's game from the coach's point of view. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Welcome back to Viking Pregame. Tonight, the Vikings will attempt to remain even in the loss column on top of the Dunn-St. Croix Conference as they take on the Spring Valley Cardinals. On the other hand, the Cardinals are looking to get back into the winning column in the Dunn-St. Croix Conference race. So, the stage is set for some exciting high school girls basketball, and we'll bring all the action for you right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Now, in just a moment, I'll be headed over to the school to join my colleague Dan Petchow as we bring you all the play-by-play action of tonight's girls' game between the Colfax Vikings and the Boyceville Bulldogs. That's all coming up next. You've been tuned to Viking Pregame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
You've been tuned to Viking pregame with a look at today's Colfax Vikings girls game. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Stay tuned. Coming up next is live Colfax Viking basketball.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Colfax Viking basketball is on the air.
They're at the free throw line to Addison from 3. She hit it! Addison Olsen with the 3-point.
The Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV proudly presents tonight's Colfax Viking girls varsity basketball game.
Bomb being chased down and finally pulled away by Barstead, who puts it up and in.
Join us as we head out to the gym for tonight's Viking basketball.
Up to Best. Best drives into the lane, puts up a shot, rattles around and in. And welcome to Colfax High School. Rick Olson along with Dan Petchow, and we are ready to bring all the action of tonight's game between the Colfax Vikings and the Spring Valley Cardinals. And, before we get anywhere into this, Dan, why don't you tell us who's going to play in this game?
Yeah, here's the starters for Spring Valley Cardinals tonight. They're going to go with sophomore number 2, Ava Burkle. Junior guard number 13, Allison Graham. Senior guard number 14, Maddie Olson. Freshman forward number 32, Charlie Vanassi. And freshman guard number
I think that's just Vanessa.
Charlie Vaness. And freshman guard number 41, Mara Ducklow. For the Colfax Vikings, they're going to go with senior guard number 10, Addison Olson. Senior forward number 14, Bailey Bradford. Senior guard number 20, Marissa Harmon. Junior small forward number 22, Maddie Barstead. And senior forward number 40, Jasmine Paulus.
And that's the same starting lineup that the Vikings used last week on Thursday when they pretty much dominated the Boyceville Bulldogs. And I don't know who that crazy guy was on Viking pregame, who the very last thing he said is, we're going to bring you all the action of tonight's game between the Vikings and the Boyceville Bulldogs. We are playing the Boyceville Bulldogs tonight, and we're playing the Spring Valley Cardinals, although the colors are similar.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 4-3 Colfax, 1-7 Spring Valley. That's their records right now.
You know, the one big difference between tonight's game and last Thursday's game? We're actually here.
Right, yeah.
We could see the numbers. We could see the players. We could see a little more of the nuance instead of trying to figure it out from the far end of the court when they have just a stationary camera. And, we're thankful that we have that. And don't get me wrong, we're really glad that that's available for us. But it is a whole lot nicer when we're actually at the game. And maybe next season we can be both at the home and away games.
Yeah. And then maybe the concession stand will open up and we'll get our popcorn and hot dogs.
And we can start comparing hot dogs again like we were doing last year. And that would be a lot of fun to get back to that. Well, I'll tell you what, Dan, we've got a little bit of time before this one gets started, so let's take a quick break. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Are your animals feeling a little under the weather? Give the nice folks at Colfax Animal Hospital a call. Bruce Buckley is just what the doctor ordered. In fact, he is the doctor, and he's ready to help. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Give them a call at 715-962-3380.
If you have a high-deductible health plan, opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank, banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Bridges, located in Colfax, Wisconsin, has been manufacturing prefabricated steel truss bridges since 1989. With hundreds of bridges supplied nationwide, we suspect you've crossed our path. It may have been on a pedestrian or bicycle bridge, or how about a snowmobile, ATV, or golf course bridge? Anderson Bridges is likely to have manufactured it. Founded in 1989, Anderson Bridges has been a family-owned company since its beginning and are proud to support the Colfax Vikings. And we're back here at Colfax High School getting ready for tonight's game between the Vikings and the Spring Valley Cardinals. We got a couple minutes, so I want to let you know that the boys basketball game that was scheduled for Thursday with the Vikings at Boyceville has been postponed due to COVID-19. That game will be made up on Monday, January 25th, when the boys will actually travel to Boyceville. That was supposed to be Boyceville coming here, but the boys will travel to Boyceville that day. And the Bulldogs will now come to Colfax on Monday, February 1st. And we'll carry the game on January 25th on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV with Viking pregame starting at 6:55. And there's another thing coming up this weekend, Dan, that I'm looking forward to. I think you are, although I wouldn't want to speak for you, but I think you're looking forward to it. NLWN-TV is excited to announce that we are going to be presenting ice racing from the Northern Wisconsin Ice Racing Club Circuit. That's coming up this weekend. Now, ice racing was scheduled to be from Lake Wissota. However, due to the ice conditions on Lake Wissota, the races have been moved to Emerson Lake in Humbird. Now, due to the poor cell service in the Humbird area, NLWN-TV will need to bring you a replay of the races on Sunday with coverage beginning at 11 o'clock. But, Dan, we're going to be down there and checking out those ice races. And yeah, I've had a lot of contact with the ice racing folks in the last week or so. And, boy, oh, boy, are they excited about this and having this happen. It's a good chance to see some good ice racing.
Yeah, I know. It's always been a thing, and I'm 44 years old and never been to one, so here we go.
Here we go. I'll tell you what, we're about to get the starting lineups and the national anthem, so we're going to go ahead and send it on down to there. And if Dan takes off his headset, and if Dan will take off his headset and just hold the microphone out, and we'll get the national anthem.
Teams are limiting exposure and will wait for the school to be cleared prior to exiting tonight. Will everyone please stay in the table? Remove your hats and place your hand over your heart on display as the national anthem is played by the Colfax High School Quartet.
That's the Colfax High School Quartet is doing our national anthem, and we're going to send right back down to the scores table in just a second if Dan will keep his headset off so we can listen to it, because that becomes our crowd mic at the same time. And we'll get the starting lineups from the scores table.
Basketball matchup between the Spring Valley Cardinals and your Colfax Vikings. Introducing the starters for the Cardinals. Number 2, a sophomore, Ava Burkle. Number 13, a junior, Allison Graham. Number 14, a senior, Madeline Olson. And number 32, a freshman, Charlie. And number 41, a freshman, Mara Bethel. The Cardinals are led by head coach, Sean. And now the starting lineup for your Colfax Vikings. Number 7, senior, Allison Olson. Number 14, senior, Bill Bradford. Number 20, senior, Marissa Harmon. Number 20, junior, Madison Colfax. And number 40, senior, Jen Wallace.
And I guess, Dan, you got to be careful with those starting lineups and the introductions, as Ava Burkle for the Spring Valley Cardinals discovered as she kind of got knocked on her keister when Mara Ducko got introduced, and she went a flying.
Always got to keep your head up.
Okay, as is usual with high school basketball this year, no jump ball to start the game. We have Allison Graham to inbound for Spring Valley. She inbounds it, but it gets tipped away by Maddie Barstead for the Vikings. Feeds it off to Olson, takes it out between the circles for the Vikings. Now over to the left side and back out between the circles to Paulus. Back over to Harmon now on the right side. Tries to feed it down underneath. It goes out of bounds. It's going to be Spring Valley ball. Harmon fed it where nobody ended up being. Full court pressure being put on by the Vikings. Spring Valley feeds it up into the forecourt. We have a reach-in foul being called on Olson. She knocked the ball loose, but not without making a little bit of contact. First personal, first team foul. Spring Valley with the ball. Inbounding it on the right side. That's Graham with it down in the right corner. Looking to get it out high, and it gets knocked away by Harmon, who takes it down the floor. Solo shot, she puts on the brakes, turns around, kicks it back out. It gets tipped out of bounds. And we have the officials going to discuss which way it's going. And they decided it's Colfax ball. That's why Barstead pulled her hands back at the last second, because she saw that it was touched by the Spring Valley girl. Harmon inbounds it to Olson up between the circles. No score, 17-18 to go in the first half. Olson feeds it over to the right side to Barstead. Barstead drives down to the baseline, turns and brings it back out. High, wide, and left, and she puts the three-pointer in. Maddie Barstead with a three to open up the scoring. Ducklow with it, gets trapped. Ball gets knocked loose. Harmon comes away with it, feeds it over Bradford, who puts it up and in. 5-0 Vikings on top. Ducklow with it again, gets trapped in the backcourt, trying to find somewhere to go. Ball gets loose, going down on the floor for it. Now we've got 4 people on the floor. They're going to call a jump ball. Olson and Barstead for the Vikings down there, along with Burkle. And I think that it was Graham. They were all down there, all trying to get their arms in there and get the ball. Harmon inbound for the Vikings. Feeds it over to Bradford at the baseline. Tries to pass it out, and it goes off of one of the Spring Valley players. I think she was looking for Paulus out high, but it went off a Spring Valley player, and so the Vikings will have the ball. Olsen with it in the backcourt. She brings it up across the timeline. Over to Harmon on the right. Back over to the left. Barstead puts up the three. No. Loose ball taken out of there by Paulus. Gets it over to Bradford. Puts up the shot. It's no good. We have a foul underneath. Paulus had the rebound, and we're going to get a foul being called. I believe it's going to be on Charlie Banis for Spring Valley. It is. It's her first personal. First team foul on Spring Valley. 5-0. Vikings on top. Feeds into Paulus in the lane. Now they get it out. Bradford puts up the three-pointer, and she hit it. Haley Bradford with the three. And we have a blocking foul being called on Olsen. That's two fairly quick fouls on Addison Olsen. That's a case where she's just trying to be a little bit aggressive, wouldn't you say, Dan?
Yeah. She plays aggressive, though.
But that's, yeah, you don't want her to get out of her game, but she's going to get a little frustrated here, and she does take a seat.
Every team needs one of those.
Jasmine Best into the lineup for the Vikings. Spring Valley with the ball, right at the midcourt stripe. A feed it into Burkle. Down the right side of the lane, puts up a shot. It rolls off the front of the iron. Rebound being fought for. Coming away with it is Bradford, and she gets run into from behind. That was Burkle. Not a foul, but the ball did go out of bounds off of Burkle, and so it's going to be Viking ball. Best brings it through the center circle. Feeds it over to the right side to Bradford. Tries to feed it into the lane to Paulus, but it's knocked away by Spring Valley. Paulus gets it, feeds it down the floor to Bradford from three. Tries to feed it back out to Barstead, but it got tipped out of bounds by Spring Valley. It'll be Viking ball. Harmon to inbound it. Gets it to Best. Best feeds it over to Paulus, then to Bradford, back to Paulus on the left side, to Barstead driving into the lane, and she lays it up. It doesn't go, and down the floor comes Spring Valley. Ducklow with it on the left side. Gets it down to Olsen. Shot is no good. Rebound tipped around, and Harmon comes away with it. Hartman quickly down the left side, feeds it down to Paulus. Paulus cross over to Best in the lane, takes it down, puts the shot up, and we have a blocking foul underneath. Best shot did not go, but she's going to go to the free throw line for two. Eight to nothing, Vikings on top. 14:58 to go in half number one. First shot by Best is good. Four in, four out for the Vikings. Second shot is right through the hoop. Nothing but net. 10-0, Vikings on top. Ducklow tries to get it into the forecourt against that full court pressure of the Vikings, then ends up throwing it away. And it'll be Viking ball. Shipman to inbound for the Vikings. Gets it to Best, brings it down the court, right through the center circle. Drives into the lane, tries to go up with it, and we have a foul on the floor before she went up with the shot. And the foul is on Mara Ducklow for Spring Valley. It's her second personal, third team foul. And Shipman to inbound for the Vikings. Gets it into Best. Out high to Emma Bertram Schofield. Then they've got it over to Irwin on the left side. Over to Parker on the right. Down to Best at the baseline. Tries to put it up. Ball gets knocked loose and taken away by Burkle. for Spring Valley. She feeds it over to Flanders, takes it down the floor. Gets it over to Burkle on the left side. Now they get it over to the right side. Driving on the right side is Maddie Olson. Now they feed it out to Flanders. Flanders gets it to Maddie Olson, tries to go up with a shot, and we have a whistle and a foul. And the foul is going to be on McKenna Shipman for the Vikings. That's her first personal. Third team foul on the Vikings. Olson's first shot is up in front of the iron. This is Maddie Olson. Don't confuse her with the Vikings' Addie Olson. Last year, I believe she was around. We had Maddie Olson, Addison Olson, Addie Olson. Yeah, it got very confusing. And the shot is short and doesn't even draw iron, so the Vikings will get the ball out of bounds. Down the floor comes Jasmine Best. Across the timeline. Takes it over to the left side. Keeps the dribble going. We have a whistle and a foul. This is going to be on Burkle. That's her first personal. Fourth team foul on Spring Valley. Emily Bertram Schofield inbound it. Gets it to Best. Best takes it to the right side this time. And we have a whistle and... And that foul is going to be on Burkle. It's her second personal, 15th foul. And we have a timeout on the floor. So with 13:56 to go in half number one, it's Vikings 10, Spring Valley nothing. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
You're tuned to the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. We use advertising revenue to make this service available to you. If you have a business and would like to get your message out to our ever-increasing audience, give us a call at 715-563-1749. We'll be happy to discuss our budget-friendly advertising packages with you. Get your business noticed on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV by calling 715-563-1749.
Back at Colfax High School, Vikings going to inbound. 13:56 to go. Best has it on the right side. Feeds it out to Irwin. Irwin outside the arc. Now takes it to the elbow. Gets it to Best. Takes it around the top of the key. Feeds it over to Parker on the left side. Parker back across and the ball gets knocked away, and down the floor comes Flanders, and her shot is up no good. Whistle. And the foul is going to be on Maddie Olson. That's her first personal, sixth team foul. The Vikings will be in the bonus from this point on. And they bring it down the floor. Irwin out high to Shipman and puts up the three, no good. Rebound taken down by Ducklow. Or check that, that's Vaness. And Vanessa's shot gets blocked and taken away by Best, and she loses control, but we're going to have a foul called.
Yeah, and we'll start bonus shots.
That's what we're going to get, because that foul is on Vanessa. It's her second personal, seventh team foul. And it's going to put Jasmine Best to the line for the 1-and-1. First shot by Best is up, and it's good. And Jasmine Best's second shot is on the way, and it's also good. 4 points for Jasmine Best, all coming from the free throw line. As Spring Valley inbounds it, they lose control, goes out of bounds, and it's going to be Viking ball. Tyler Knoll into the lineup for the Vikings, replacing Parker. Inbound pass to Best. Best takes it between the circles. Feeds it over to the left side to Emily Bertram-Schofield. Emily drives in, puts it up, and it goes in. Emily Bertram-Schofield with a powerful baseline drive. 14-0 Vikings on top. Still putting on that full court pressure. Spring Valley gets it across the timeline, feeds it into the lane to Vanis, and it goes in. Finally, they get some points on the board. Charlie Vanis breaks the ice for Spring Valley. Down the floor comes Jasmine Best past the free throw line, drives into the lane, and we have a whistle. She's going to the line for two. We got a blocking foul called on Spring Valley. And the foul is on Kylie Flanders. That's her first personal, 8th team foul. Holy cow, Jasmine Best can miss a free throw. There it went. And here comes the second shot. That one goes through. So she's 5 for 6 from the line. I guess she's entitled to miss one once in a while. Spring Valley brings it down the floor. Flanders with it, drives into the lane. We have a whistle and a foul. And I think it's going to be on Shipman with the block. It is. It's on McKenna Shipman for the Vikings. It's her second personal, 4th team foul. Flanders goes to the line. First shot is off the iron, no good. Her second shot is on the way, and it's also no good. Rebound taken out of there by Knoll. And the Vikings bring it down the floor as she gives it off to Best. Best between the circle, takes it over to the left side. Now tries to feed it out high. Pass gets intercepted by Spring Valley. This is Flanders driving the baseline, tries to put it up off the bottom of the iron. Loose ball being fought for, and coming away with it is Emily Bertram-Schofield, and we have a timeout being called by the Vikings. 12:09 to go in the first half. Vikings 15, Spring Valley 2, and you are tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
NLWN-TV is excited to bring you NWA ice racing action. However, due to the ice conditions on Lake Wissota, this weekend's races have been relocated to Emerson Lake in Humber, Wisconsin. Also, due to the port cell service in the Humber area, we will need to bring you Saturday's races on Sunday, January 17th. Our coverage will begin at 11 a.m. on NLWN-TV. Be sure to join us on Sunday, January 17th at 11 for NWA ice racing action.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Rick Olson here along with Dan Petchow. We're back here at Colfax High School. Vikings with a 15-2 lead with 12:08 to go in number 1. Beth gets it across the timeline for the Vikings. She gets double teamed as she tries to come around the corner. Ball gets knocked out of bounds off of Spring Valley. I think they're going to say it went off of Flanders. And the Vikings to inbound. Irwin inbounds it to Best. They get it over to the left side. Shot from the left corner by Barstead, and it's a three-pointer in the hole. Spring Valley to inbound it. Flanders has it. She takes it across the timeline. Coming down the left side. Now feeds it back out high to Olson. Olson drives to the free throw line. Loses her footing. Tries to feed it out. Ball gets knocked loose, and it was off of Knoll. Out of bounds, and so Spring Valley will have the ball. But some good scrappy defense by the Vikings, not letting them get clean passes. Long inbound pass gets taken away by Emily Bertram-Schofield. Then it gets knocked out of her hands, and out of bounds will be Viking ball under their own basket. Barstead to inbound it, gets it over to Best. Out high, Bertram-Schofield. Tries to feed it into the lane. Barstead, we have a foul. I believe it's going to be on Barstead because she had to climb over the top of Maddie Olson to get to the ball. And it was first personal on Barstead, 5th team foul on the Vikings. Spring Valley to inbound it. Gets it into Olson. Now they feed it to the center of the floor to Graham, who drives down, gets it down underneath the flange. And we're going to get a whistle underneath, and I think this is going to be on Noel. Yeah, the foul is on Noel. It's her first 6th team foul. So after this inbound pass, both teams will be in the bonus. Olsen tries to go up with it. It's called for a foul as she did a move in the lane. And the foul's on Emily Bertram Schofield. It's her first personal, 7th team foul on the Vikings. Maddie Olson at the line, sinks the first of 2. And her second shot is on the way. And it's good. 18-4, the Vikings on top. 14-point lead. Jasmine Best on the dribble, coming in through the backcourt. Feeds a cross-court pass over to Bertram Schofield. Takes it into the forecourt. To Barstead on the left side. Feeds it to Noel. Then to Best. Down to Irwin. It's the baseline. She puts the shot up. It rattles around. Does not go in. And Spring Valley comes away with the rebound. Trying to get the ball loose. We have a loose ball on the floor and a jump ball being called. And we have a mess of substitutions coming in for the Vikings. 4 in, 4 out. Barstead's the only one who stayed in. I think we're back to the starting lineup now. Spring Valley inbounds the ball. Brings it down the floor on the right side. Over to Peabody. And then down to Graham on the left. Graham's pass gets intercepted by Barstead. Solo flight down the floor, and she lays it in. That's 8 points for Maddie Barstead. And down the floor comes Spring Valley. Ducklow gets herself into another trap. Tries to pass the ball. Paula steals it. Dribbles it down into the lane. Feeds it out to Barstead. Puts up the 3. No. Paulus gets the rebound. They feed it out to Olson, who drives in the lane. Tries to put it up. Got hammered on the way in. She's going to the line for 2. That foul was on Maddie Olson. So Maddie Olson fouled Addie Olson. First shot is on the way. It's good. 21-4, the Vikings on top. Second shot on the way. It's also good. Spring Valley to inbound. Long pass and a out of bounds. Never got touched by anybody inbound, so it'll be Viking ball under their basket. Harmon to inbound. Looking for somewhere to go. Feeds it out high to Bradford, over to Olson. Back to Bradford. Bradford puts up the 3. She hit it. Nothing but net for Bailey Bradford. 25-4. And we're going to get a traveling call being called by Spring Valley. I'll tell you what, Dan, that time I think Addie Olson was looking like, oh man, not number 3.
Yeah, good job by Addison Olson. Just kind of stepping the way a little bit, made her go around and travel.
Inbound pass to Addison Olson. Feeds it over to the left side to Barstead. Back over to the right to Addison. On the right side to Harmon, back out to Addison. Over to Bradford. Tries to feed it into the lane to Bradford or Barstead, but the ball got taken away by Ducklow, and then Olson found it between her knees and tries to dribble out of trouble, and I think she got fouled in the process. She's going to go to the line for the 1-1. All of a sudden, Addison goes, "What is this under my legs?" And then as she was trying to dribble away, somebody had a hold of her ankle. Addison's first shot, good. (26-4). Vikings up by 22 with 9:38 to go in the first half. Second shot is on the way, and it's good. Spring Valley to inbound the ball. They get it into Flanders, takes it down the floor, and the ball gets knocked away by Olsen out of bounds, but it's going to be Spring Valley's ball. But this is the kind of defense you like to see, Dan, because it causes disruption in the offense.
Yeah.
Spring Valley trying to inbound, and the inbound pass gets stolen by Barstead. Barstead quickly down the floor with it. Takes it down the left side, feeds it outside the three, and evidently Harmon had her foot on the sideline, and she caught the ball. We don't have a pylon cam like they have in the NFL games to check on that one. So Spring Valley brings it down the floor. Flanders with it. Gets it out high to Ducklow. Ducklow just inside the arc, puts it up, and it's good. She called the bank. Got it to go in, but it's a two-pointer. 27-6. Olsen with it across the timeline. Feeds it over to Barstead, but the ball kind of got away from her. And it went over Barstead's head and out of bounds, so Spring Valley has the ball. Ducklow with it in the backcourt. She's double-teamed. Takes it across the timeline, still on the dribble, feeds it out to the left corner. Shot from three, no good. Second shot is up, no good. And Vikings come away with it. Olsen on the dribble. She feeds it out to Bradford. Bradford's cross-court pass to Harmon. Harmon put up the three, and she hit it. Marissa Harmon with a three-pointer. 30-6, the Vikings are on top. Spring Valley inbounds the ball. Down the floor comes Ducklow. Get over to the right side to Flanders. To Graham, all on the right side. Back to Flanders, inside the arc. The shot is up, no good, off the glass. And Barstead comes away with it. Dishes it off to Olsen. Olsen brings it across the timeline. And down the left side, drives into the lane. Tries to go up. They're going to say no. And the foul is on Maddie Olsen. Third personal. That's the 10th team foul, so Addison Olsen goes to the line for two. Shot is good. That's a knuckleball, Dan. There was no spin on that ball at all.
Yeah.
I could have read Spalding across that one.
Yeah, she has her own kind of style of shot.
She does. Second shot. It goes in.
But that's all that matters if it goes in or not.
That's right. 6 points for Addison Olsen tonight, and they're all from the charity stripe. 32-6. Vikings on top, 7:57 to go in the game, or in the first half. Down the floor comes Ducklow. Feeds it over on the left side to Graham. Graham out to the free throw line. Gets it out to Burkle. Burkle feeds it to Ducklow. Ducklow drives into the lane. Puts up a shot off the glass. No good. Rebound. Fought for underneath and taken out of there by Burkle for Spring Valley. She gets it out to Graham, and Graham took an extra step before she put the ball to the floor, and it's going to be a turnover to the Vikings.
Spring Valley just can't get in a rhythm yet today.
That's because there have been Viking hands in the way of everything they've tried to do. Not always have the Vikings been successful at it, but they've taken them out of their rhythm. Best feeds it over to Bertram Schofield. Then to Best. Best put a little bit of spin on it. Evidently it was tipped. There was a strange spin off of that ball. Then they feed it down into the corner to Parker. Puts up a three-pointer, no good. Rebound knocked in bounds by Shipman. And Spring Valley comes up with it. Burkle with it. Gets it over to Ducklow. Ducklow through the center circle. Take it over to the left side to Burkle. Burkle out high to Ducklow. Ducklow to Burkle. Burkle with a three-pointer on the way. No good off the iron, and Vikings got the ball, but bounced it one time right on the edge of the end line. And so it's a turnover to Spring Valley, and they want a timeout. 6:50 to go in the first half. Vikings 32, Spring Valley 6. And you are tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining? Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Dr. Bruce Buckley and his staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380.
And we're back here at Colfax High School. Rick Olson along with Dan Chow. Vikings on top. That score is not wrong. It's 32-6. And we have a jump ball down in the corner. And the Vikings will get it. Possession arrow is in their favor. They get it into Best, who takes it across the timeline. Tries to feed it. Try to get through a bunch of... Finally coming away with it is Shipman, who drives into the lane, puts it up, no good. Rebound tapped out of bounds. It'll be Viking ball. That pass that tried to make to Emily Bertram Schofield, all of a sudden she ran into a bunch of arms, and the ball just kind of dribbled out. Bertram Schofield picks up some loose change, drives into the lane, feeds it over to the left side to Parker. Parker puts up the three, and she hit it. Jasmine Parker.
Riley Parker.
Oh, Riley Parker. It's Jasmine Paulus. I'll get it right. Maybe by the end of the season. Ducklow with it. She gets it to Burkle. Burkle out high to Flanders. Flanders just inside the arc. Tries to get it to Ducklow. It passes it behind her, and we have a jump ball being called. Shipman got in there and tied it up. Possession arrow in favor of Spring Valley. Burkle. Inbounds, a turnaround jumper by Vanessa is no good, and the Vikings come away with it. Down the floor is Emily Bertram Schofield. And we have a whistle and a foul underneath. And that foul is going to be on Flanders, and it's her second personal. Puts Emily Bertram Schofield to the line for two. This one's good. Tyler Knoll into the lineup for Shipman for the Vikings. Now Bertram Schofield with her second shot. And it rolls around and in. 37-6, Vikings up by 31 points in the first half. 5:48 to go. Down the floor comes Flanders. Feeds it over to Burkle. Burkle out high to Graham. Graham out by the mid-court line, feeds it down to Ducklow, drives the baseline and gets tied up, and she walked with it. She walked with it underneath.
Yeah, good job by Colfax to bottle up there, get the turnover.
She tends to dribble right into those double teams that the Vikings put on. Down the floor comes Jasmine Best for the Vikings. Gets it over to Irwin on the right side. She drives into the lane. Turn around. Tries to get it back out to Knoll. Knoll picks it up. Over to Irwin on the left side. Now she's out between the circles. Over to the right side to Knoll. Tries to pass it into the lane, and there was a Spring Valley body right in the way, driving it down, laying it up, but it doesn't go as Graham, and the Vikings come away with the loose change. Jasmine Best with it. Feeds it over to Bertram Schofield, drives into the lane. Down underneath to Irwin, puts up a shot, no good. Rebound being taken away by Spring Valley. Down Down the floor comes Graham. Graham out to Ducklow. Ducklow takes it over to the left side to Flanders. Flanders back out to Ducklow at the top of the key. Then to Burkle on the right. Burkle tries to feed it in closer to the lane. Ball gets knocked loose, but picked up by Spring Valley and then knocked out of her hands by Noel. She lays it up and in. Noel with 2 on the night, 39-6. Vikings on top. Down the floor comes Spring Valley, and they dribble it on the sideline. And it will be a turnover for the Vikings. They will inbound it. Shipman into the lineup for the Vikings. Paulus. Bradford. Irwin is still in. Harmon is in. Yeah, they had 6 out there. That was almost like a hockey line change. They thought they could get away with 6.
Penalty shot.
Anyway, Irwin went out, and so now the Vikings have it. It's Bradford. Over to Shipman. Feeds it across the baseline, but gets intercepted down there by Flanders, who brings it down the floor for Spring Valley. She tries to feed it down underneath Ducklow. She finally gets control of it on the left side. Gets it out to Graham. Over to Flanders. To the other Graham, that's Caitlin Graham. Then a shot goes up, it's no good. We have a foul. And the foul is going to be on Tyler Noel. That's her second personal, 8th team foul on the Vikings. The shot is up and off the backboard and good. This is Charlie Vaness at the line. Olsen in the lineup for Noel for the Vikings. Second shot on the way, it's also good. 39-8. 3:18 to go in the first half. Olsen brings it down the floor right through the center circle. Feeds it over to the right side. Now they get it down underneath the Harmon. Out, Paulus puts up the shot and it's good. Jasmine Paulus from 2-point land. Spring Valley brings it down the floor. This is Burkle. Getting it over to Graham. Then to the other Graham. That's Caitlin Graham is the other Graham. So we're probably going to have to start going first names again, Dan. This is Allison with it. Over to Flanders. Out to Caitlin. To Ducklow. Ducklow takes it around the right side. Gets it over to Caitlin. Caitlin with a shot on the way, and it's good. 41-10, the Vikings on top. Feed to Paulus, to Olsen from 3, off the back of the iron, no good. Down the floor comes Spring Valley. Ducklow puts up the shot, it's no good. She was closely guarded by Olsen, and the Vikings get the rebound and bring it down the floor. Olsen feeds it off to Harmon. Back out high now, Paulus has it. Puts up a shot from in the lane, no good. Rebound, nothing but maroon jerseys, but they fall out of bounds with the ball. Caitlin Graham got a hold of the ball just before she slid out of bounds, and it will be Viking ball. Paulus has the inbound pass, puts up a short hop. No, it doesn't go. One of those little bunny shots. That's the one type of shot the Vikings have a real hard time making, are those bunny shots. Spring Valley has it. Burkle gets it over to Caitlin Graham. Her shot's no good. The putback by Pelzel is no good. And here comes Harmon. Dishes it up to Paulus, then to Bradford. Three-pointer, no, off the iron, and Spring Valley comes away with it. Minute 15 to go in half number 1. This is Ducklow. She drives to the lane, puts it up, no good. Rebound taken down by Harmon. Harmon down the floor. Gets it to Paulus, launches a three, she hit it. Jasmine Paulus with the three. 44-10. Ducklow with it between the circles, brings it over to the left side. Putting up the shot, no good. Rebound taken down by the Vikings. Gets it up, they get it out to Olsen between the circles. Over to Shipman, to Paulus, staying outside. Looks like the Vikings are looking for one shot. Olsen has it high, wide, and left. Feeds it down to Bradford, back out to Olsen. Olsen dribbles between the circles, drives down toward the lane. She got tripped on her way in. And so Addison Olsen will go to the line to shoot 2. 6.9 seconds remaining in half number 1. First shot on the way. No, it's no good. That's what I get for saying she was 6 for 6 from the line. That shot goes through. That's 7 points for Olsen on the night, and again, they are all from the free throw line. That comes from that aggressive style of play that she does. You know, she got a little bit of foul trouble early in the half, hasn't had a foul since. Spring Valley drives down, pass across the baseline, shot at the buzzer is no good. So the score as we go to halftime, Vikings 45, Spring Valley 10. And we have Viking halftime coming up right away. You're to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Time now for Viking halftime with this week's edition of Viking Profile and the Colfax High School Report. That's all coming up following this brief timeout.
Time now for Viking Profile, where we take a closer look at one of the Colfax Viking players. And now, Viking Profile.
Today on Viking Profile, we're going to get to know Tyler Knoll, a senior at Colfax High School. We'll be chatting with Tyler right after this message.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
We're talking with Tyler Knoll on Viking Profile. And Tyler, we know that you play basketball, but are you involved in any other activities at school?
I did volleyball this year, so in track and field.
Okay. Now, you're a transfer student into Colfax. Where did you go to school prior to this?
I went to City, Wisconsin.
Okay, Cuba City? Mm-hmm. Okay, and does moving for your senior year present any special challenges for you?
It's different. Like, I have a challenge not knowing everyone, being with everyone that I did know at Cuba City for my last year, but it's been really fun so far here at Colfax. That's pretty good.
Now, when did you start playing basketball, and what kind of experience have you had?
I've had to maybe like 8 or maybe even younger. I've always liked it. Like my family is a big basketball family, so it always makes me happy playing the sport I love. In
fact, your grandpa's pretty well known for basketball around this area, running the AAU program. Am I not correct? Yeah, so it's kind of in your blood, isn't it?
It's in my blood.
Yeah. So, what's the most important thing that you've learned from playing basketball?
Probably just like being a good teammate.
Okay.
And I'm trying to cheer. Yeah, basically just being a good teammate and like learning from each other is always what you can always learn way more different things from each other than you can even just from watching basketball.
Okay. So when you're not playing basketball or you're not here at school, what are some other things that interest you or keep you occupied?
With my family a lot, especially this year. And I've always found because I've always liked things with my brother and I'm really close to him. So I just hung out with either brother or just my friends.
Okay, I have some rapid fire questions for you. Just say the first thing that pops into your head. Pie, ice cream, cake, or cookies?
Cream.
And any particular flavor?
I'm an Oreo.
Okay. What's your favorite color and why?
Probably purple, and I just always like color, I guess.
Okay. Now, if you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
Super speed, I guess. Just so then it'd probably get me a little bit more fast too, just being in fast breaks. And you can
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't hurt, does it?
No.
Do you have a favorite NBA or WNBA team?
Not really. I really like Miami Heat because I'm a big Tyler Hero fan, and for WNBA, I follow Citizen where that I'm just following is. He's one of my favorite players of all time.
How about a favorite college team?
Probably Wisconsin. That's
a safe fallback, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, we're talking with Tyler Noel on Viking Profile. And Tyler, what are your plans for after high school?
I'm not really sure yet. I want to go into interior design. I've been talking in school for basketball in Rockford.
How about a shout out to your family?
Hey, Finn. Hey, Mom and Dad. Hey, Bumpa and Dot Dot.
All right, when people watch Viking games here on NLWN-TV, what number will they find you wearing and what position do you play?
24. And I am a post 5 this year. Sometimes the 4, but most likely just.
Okay. All right, thank you. And we want to thank Tyler Noel for joining us today on Viking Profile. Coming up next is more Viking Halftime.
You've been listening to Viking Profile. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.
Time now for the Colfax High School Report, with an update about what's happening at Colfax High School.
At Colfax High School, last week the girls Viking basketball team went 1-0 and remained in a tie in the loss column for first place in the Dunn St. Croix Conference. The Vikings defeated the Boyceville Bulldogs 66-29 last Thursday. That win leaves the Vikings with a 4-3 record overall and a 4-win, 1-loss conference record. The Viking boys had 2 games which couldn't be played due to COVID-19. On Tuesday the 5th, the boys' game with Chippewa Falls McDonald was canceled, and the game on Friday with Durand was postponed. Durand's needing to quarantine as well made rescheduling difficult. It turned out that the Vikings will play Durand at Durand on Tuesday, January 26th, and will host Durand on Thursday, February 11th. Now, coming up this week, the Viking boys were scheduled to take on the Elk Mound Mounders on Monday and the Boyceville Bulldogs on Thursday. However, both of those games have been postponed due to COVID-19. The game with Elk Mound will be made up on Saturday, January 30th, with the varsity starting at 1 o'clock. The Vikings will now travel to Boyceville on January 25th and host the Bulldogs on February 1st. Also this week, The middle school girls basketball gets off to a fast start with 3 games. On Monday, the middle school Vikings travel to Durand to take on Assumption Middle School. On Tuesday, the middle schoolers host Glenwood City. And on Thursday, the girls travel to Elk Mound. The annual Dorian Vocal Festival was scheduled to be held Sunday through Tuesday. However, according to a Luther College announcement, due to the health concerns caused by the novel coronavirus, this year's in-person festival was replaced by an online vocal week at Luther College. On Saturday the 16th, the Viking dance team will compete in the conference dance competition at River Falls. Now, Friday the 15th marks the end of the second quarter of the school year. There will be a 12:30 student dismissal that day with no morning or afternoon junior kindergarten. Coming up next week, the Viking girls will host the Boyceville Bulldogs on Monday the 18th and travel to Elmwood Plum City on Thursday the 21st. We'll carry both of those games on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV with Viking pregame beginning at 6:55 both nights. The Viking boys will host the Spring Valley Cardinals on Tuesday the 19th and host the Elk Mound Mounders on Friday the 22nd. We will carry the game against Elk Mound on Friday on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV with Viking pregame beginning at 6:55. The middle school girls will travel to Boyceville next week on Tuesday and host the Elk Mound Mounders on Thursday. And don't forget the Science Olympiad will be held on Saturday, January 23rd at UW River Falls. And that's what's happening at Colfax High School for January 10th through the 16th.
You've been tuned to the Colfax High School Report with an update about what's happening at Colfax High School. Stay tuned. Coming up next is more Viking halftime and then second half action.
You've been tuned to Viking halftime. Stay tuned. Coming up is second half action of today's Viking game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
And Rick Olson. And, okay, we've got, along with Dan Petchow back here at Colfax High School, as the Vikings inbound the ball, and Jeff across the way was just letting us know when the running clock would begin in a game like this, and it's at the 9-minute mark. Vikings have the ball shot by Harmon from the free throw line is no good. And here comes Spring Valley down the floor. This is Graham with it. She feeds it out on to the left side. Shot is up no good, and the rebound brought down by Olson. She brings it down through the center circle to the right side to Paulus. Back out to the top of the key to Harmon with a three-pointer. She put it in. Marissa Harmon with another three. And down the floor come the Vikings, or come the Cardinals, I should say. They're over on the left side, feeding it into the lane. The shot goes up, no good. Rebound, back up and in by Maddie Olson. And the Vikings bring it down the floor. Into the lane, drives Barstead. Maddie Barstead with it. It's her 10th point on the night. 50-12, Vikings on top. Burkle with it, takes it into the lane, feeds it back out over to the left side to Graham. Now down underneath, turnaround jumper by Vanessa is good. Vanessa has 6 points for Spring Valley. 50-14, Vikings on top. Bradford with it, gets it over to Paulus, near the top of the key, puts up the three, no good. Barstead with the rebound. She gets it over to Bradford, who lays it up and in. 52-14. Ducklow with it. Feeding it over to Maddie Olson for Spring Valley. Now they get it over to Vanette. She tries to drive the baseline, and we got a jump ball being called. She kind of was double teamed with Paulus and Olson underneath there, and they forced the jump ball. Possession arrow in favor of Spring Valley. Burkle with it. She gets double teamed. Loses control, gets it back, gets it out to Ducklow. Feeds it to Vanette. Turnaround jumper, puts it in. Charlie Vaness with 8 points on the night. Bradford to Olson. Feeds it out to Paulus. To Harmon in the lane. Feeds it underneath to Bradford, puts it up and in. Bailey Bradford with her 12th point of the night. Spring Valley on the left side. Ball gets loose and Olson comes away with it. Solo flight for Addison Olson, lays it up and in. That's her 9th point on the night. A lot of scoring happening for the Vikings tonight. Vikings come away with the ball. Down the floor. They come. Olson with it. Feeds it over to Paulus. Back to Olson. Out high. Harmon with it. Now over to Olson on the left side. Puts up the 3. Bounces off the iron. No good. Rebound taken down by Spring Valley. And down the floor come the Cardinals. Ducklow with it between the circles. Ducklow feeds it down the right side to Graham. It's Allison Graham to Burkle out at the top of the key. Drives into the lane. Tries to feed it out to the left side to Ducklow. Ducklow drives to the free throw line. I checked it. That wasn't Ducklow. This one is a put up the shot. It's no good. The putback is up and we have a whistle and a foul. Maddie Olson on the putback. And Maddie Olson's going to be shooting 2. And we're going to have a hockey line change coming up here for the Vikings. First shot on the way, and it's good. Five in, 5 out. Only lineup for the Vikings. We have Shipman and Parker and Best and Irwin and Bertram Schofield for the Vikings. Olsen's second shot. And it's good. 56-18. The Vikings on top. Down the floor. Come the Vikings. Emily Bertram Schofield. Looking for somewhere to go with it. Feeds it out to Parker. Out high, wide, and right. Into the lane to Shipman. Dishes it out to the right side to Irwin. To Parker. Back across the left side to Best. Puts up a 3. She hit it. Jasmine Best with the 3-pointer. 8 points for her tonight. Down the floor comes Spring Valley. 3-pointer by Olson, no good. Rebound being chased around on the floor. Olson drives in the lane. We have a whistle and a jump ball. Emily Bertram Schofield just grabbed hold of that ball as Olson was trying to go up with it and said, nah, not this time. And forced the turnover, and the Vikings have it. Jasmine Best to bring it down the floor for the Vikings across the timeline. Takes it over to the right side. Drives down to the right corner. Dishes it towards the lane to Shipman. We have a whistle and a foul. And the foul is going to be on Ava Burkle for Spring Valley. That's Burkle's 4th personal. So she takes a seat. Vikings to inbound it. Best with it on the right side, in the right corner. Feeds it out high, wide, and right to Bertram Schofield. Drives down into the lane. Dishes it back out to Shipman. Over to Irwin. Now out high to Parker. Throws it into the lane to Shipman, who can't quite control the ball. And coming away with it is Hennick for Spring Valley. She lays the shot up, no good. The putback is also no good. And the rebound taken down by Parker. Parker feeds it over to Best. Down underneath the Shipman, drives the baseline, puts up the shot, no good. Rebound, batted away by Shipman. She's got it, hits it out to Emily Bertram Schofield in the lane, kicks it out to Irwin from the left side, and the ball goes over the back of the backboard. Off the iron, bounced up off the back of the backboard, and rolled off the backside. So it goes over to the Spring Valley Cardinals. Hannock with it. She feeds it over to Maddie Olson and into the lane to Vanessa. Then out to the left-hand corner, shot goes up, and we have a whistle. And the foul is going to be on Maddie Olson for Spring Valley. That is her 4th personal. Spring Valley running into a little bit of foul trouble. As Jasmine Best brings it down the floor. She feeds it over to Bertram Schofield in the lane. Feeds it back out to Best. Best across the lane to Parker, and Parker loses control. Ball gets picked up by Ducklow, but she steps on the end line, so it'll be the Vikings' ball. Inbound pass to Emily Bertram Schofield. She gets it over to Parker. They're over on the right side. Getting into the lane to Best. Best tries to put it up. And then they're saying the foul happened before the shot. I'm not so sure about that one, Dan.
Yeah.
It looked to me like the shot was coming from the hip. And we have a timeout being called by the Vikings. So, timeout on the floor. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Are your pooch's proportions putting on pounds? Or is your kitty's constitution constantly complaining? Well, stop by and see the friendly folks at the Colfax Animal Hospital. Dr. Bruce Buckley and his staff will be happy to help you get your family friend back on the road to healthy living. That's the Colfax Animal Hospital. Call them at 715-962-3380.
And we're back here at Colfax High School. The Vikings inbound the ball. Irwin inbounds it to Shipman. She hands it out to Best, who puts up the three-pointer and hit it. 62-18. The Vikings on top with 11:46 to go. Spring Valley with it over on the left side. Burkle with it. Check that. That's Peabody with it. She drives towards the lane. Loses control. Goes to a knee. And the Vikings come away with the ball. Irwin with it. Puts it up, and it goes off the bottom of the backboard. And we have a travel call being called on Spring Valley. They came away with the ball, but took an extra step. So Tyler Knoll into the lineup for the Vikings. Passing to Knoll. Her shot goes up. No, off the back of the iron. And coming away with it is Spring Valley. Flanders comes down the floor. Feeding it over to Ducklow. Ducklow out to Peabody. Peabody over to Hannock. Hannock back out high to Ducklow. Back to Hannock in the lane. Gets it to the side, and that is in, and I have a 54. If you've got that roster around here somewhere, do they have it on there?
They don't.
Well, maybe it's Lizzie Schaefer. It's just the wrong number. We'll just assume that it is. Vikings with the shot is no good, and Spring Valley comes away with it. Down the floor, into the lane is the Vikings, and that Shipman puts it up and in.
Good job on McKenna Shipman to get the rebound and get her own shot.
She put up the shot and kept scrapping because she got her own and then put it back. And as Spring Valley brings down the floor, ball gets knocked away by Best, but it goes out of bounds, and it will be the Spring Valley ball. Spring Valley inbounds it. Down underneath baseline drive by Vanessa. Shot is no good. Shot by Hannock is no good. And coming away with it is Shipman for the Vikings. She puts on the brakes, gets it out to Knoll. Knoll drives towards the free throw line, gets it back out to Bertram Schofield, puts up the shot, no good. Rebound taken down by Best. Her shot is up and no good, but there's a whistle and a foul. foul is on Hannock. It's her first personal, fourth team foul. Jasmine Best at the line for 2. First shot is up and in. And the second shot on the way, rattles around, no good. Rebound taken down by Charlie Vance. She quickly takes it down the floor, tries to put up the shot, it's no good, and we've got a whistle. I think it's going to be on Emily Bertram-Schofield.
Number 4.
Oh, it's on Abby Irwin. It's her first personal, second team foul on the Vikings. Vanessa at the line. First shot is on the way, it's good. Vikings up by 44, 65-21. Second shot on the way, it's good. Down the floor come the Vikings. Jasmine Beck on the dribble. Takes it over to the right side. She's at the free throw line, gets it out to Chipman, puts up the 3. No, rebound, and we have a whistle and a foul underneath. And the foul is going to be on Charlie Vanessa. It's her third personal. 5th team foul. Emily Bertram-Schofield to inbound it for the Vikings. She gets it out high to Shipman. Shipman launches a 3, puts it up, no good. Rebound taken down by the Vikings. Gets it back to Shipman from the free throw line. She hit it. That's 4 points for McKenna Shipman tonight. Spring Valley with it over on the left side. Peabody, as she feeds it out high to Ducklow. And then to Hannock, but Hannock gets it taken away by Bertram-Schofield, lays it up, and it goes in. Emily Bertram-Schofield with the steal and the dash. If Emily Bertram-Schofield wasn't such a nice kid, I would say she could make a living as some kind of a thief. When you steal it, you dash away. That's what she just did with that basketball.
Yeah, good job by Emily.
I would never recommend that to her, but that's what it looked like. All right, Spring Valley inbounds the ball. Peabody with it, feeding it over to Hannock in the lane. Back out to Peabody. From the three-point line, but she was just inside the line, so it's only 2. 69-24, Vikings on top. 8:16 to go. Barstead with it for the Vikings. Drives down to the baseline, tries to put the shot up, it's no good. Bertram-Schofield comes away with it and throws it off a Spring Valley leg, and it's going to be Viking ball.
Yeah, good job by Emily there to be aware of what's going on and throw it off the Spring Valley player.
Arstead comes out. Chipman goes in for the Vikings. We have running time going, a running clock now. Emily Bertram-Schofield feeds it into Shipman, who ditches it back out. Three-pointer from Irwin is no good. And Spring Valley comes down the floor. This is Hannock to Peabody. Peabody feeds it into the lane. Shot goes up from Vanessa. It's no good, and the Vikings come away with it. Abby Irwin with it. Hitting it over to Emily Bertram-Schofield. Takes it to the free throw line, drives into the lane. She's triple teamed, turns around, puts it up, no good. Rebound taken down by Ducklow. 7:06 remaining. As Ducklow tries to put the shot up, and we have a whistle and a foul. And it looks to me like the foul is going to be
Jasmine Best, number 32.
That's exactly right. And that's her second personal. First shot by Ducklow, no good. It's the 4th team foul on the Vikings. We have some substitutions coming in. Ainsley Olsen now in for the Vikings, along with Jeanette Hajdukovic. And I'm waiting to see who that was on the other side that came in. Aaliyah Reen, I believe, is the other one who came in. And the Vikings come down with the ball. They get it over to Jenna Goodell. Check that. That was Jenna Goodell who came in. She's got it between the circles. Tries to feed it into the lane to Hajdukovic. Puts up the shot. No good. Hajdukovic chases down the loose change. Feeds it out to Olsen. Puts up the shot. No good. Ainsley Olsen with the shot. Feeds down into Hajdukovic, who lays it up and in.
That play's going to go kind of under the radar, but good play by Ainsley Olsen there. Find the open girl underneath.
Well, and she did not have balance. She did not have a shot, so she just fed it under to the one who did. So Spring Valley with a three-point shot is no good. That was by Hannock, and the ball goes out of bounds, and the Vikings will inbound it. 5:20 to go in the ball game. Inbound pass, and the ball gets knocked away and out of bounds. It's going to be Viking ball. They were trying to get it into Reen. Tyler Knoll to inbound it, tries to get it to Reen. Instead it goes to Ainsley Olsen, who saves it in and gets it to Hajdukovic. Now they get it over to the left side. Tyler Knoll puts up the three, it's no good. Rebound, chased down by Reen. Tips the ball. We have a scrum on the floor, and finally a whistle and a jump ball being called. Possession arrow in favor of Spring Valley. A little bit of scrappiness on the floor that time.
Yeah, good effort by both teams yet.
Hannock with it between the circles. Feeds it over to Ducklow on the right side for Spring Valley. Out right to Peabody at the top of the key. Tries to feed it in the lane. Ball gets knocked away by Hajdukovic. Picked up by Peabody, who feeds it over to Hannock, and we have a player down on the floor for the Vikings. And it's Ainsley Olsen on the floor, and she's down there reaching for her ankle as the training staff and coaching staff comes out to tend to Ainsley. And while they do that, we'll take this time out. Viking 71, Spring Valley 24. You're tuned to Viking basketball on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Deductible health plan. Opening a health savings account at Dairy State Bank will allow you to save tax-free dollars to pay for a long list of health-related services allowed by the IRS. Dairy State Bank HSAs are serviced locally and work like a regular checking account. You can use a debit card or check to pay for expenses and access your account through online or mobile banking. Visit DairyStateBank.com to learn more about HSAs and online or mobile banking. Dairy State Bank. Banking on relationships. Member FDIC.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Well, that reminds me of the song from the musical Annie Get Your Gun, because her older sister Addison had an ankle injury earlier this year, and now Ainsley goes off with one, and it's anything you can do, I can do better, I guess. So the Vikings inbound the ball. It goes over to Tyler Knoll. Puts up the shot from the side of the lane. No good. Rebound taken down by Spring Valley. 3:53 to go. Peabody with it. Drives into the lane. Feeds it out to Graham. Graham's shot is off the back of the iron. Taken down by Goodell. Goodell feeds it over to Best. Best from the top of the key over to Goodell. Goodell down to the free throw line. Over to Reen. Reen down underneath to Hajdukovic. Puts it up, no good. Rebound. And we have, that was a pretty good wrestling move. Although she hit her head pretty hard, the Spring Valley girl, on the floor. And We're waiting to see who that foul is on. That foul is going to... The foul is going to be on Reen by the Viking. The player on the floor is Maddie Olson for Spring Valley. And while they tend to her, fans, our next girls game on the Northern Light Webcasting Network is scheduled for Friday.
Yeah.
Just a couple days away. January 15th, when the Viking girls host the Outbound Mounders. Viking pregame will be at 6:55 and live play-by-play will be at 7:10. Also want to remind you that NLWN-TV is excited to announce that starting in March, we're going to bring you classic WISSOTA racing action. We'll reprise 7 of the weekend races from the Eagle Valley Speedway with a few added features. John's working pretty hard. In fact, he went down to Arizona to pick up an interview that he's doing in one of those features. This will help you get ready for the 2021 racing season. Classic WISSOTA racing action begins March 17th on NLWN-TV. Say the boys basketball game that was scheduled for Thursday with the Vikings at Boyceville has been postponed due to COVID-19. Now that game is going to be made up on Monday the 25th when the boys will now travel to Boyceville. Originally the Bulldogs were going to come here, but now the Vikings will go to Boyceville on the 25th. And the Bulldogs will now come to Colfax on Monday, February 1st, and we'll carry the game on January 25th right here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV with Viking pregame starting at 6:55. And then don't forget, you got your long woolies ready to go, Dan?
Oh, boy.
Coming up this Saturday, we're going to be presenting ice racing from the Northern Wisconsin Ice Racing Club Circuit. And coming up this weekend, ice racing was supposed to be at Lake WISSOTA, but due to the ice conditions on Lake WISSOTA, they've moved races to Emerson Lake in Humbird. And due to the poor cell service down in that area, we can't do it live, but we're going to bring you a replay of the races on Sunday with coverage starting at 11 a.m.
Yeah, if you haven't seen this before, it's pretty fun. Check it out.
It really is. These vehicles, and they're four-wheelers, three-wheelers, side-by-sides, motorcycles, all going around the ice, sliding all over the place. You're right, it's a lot of fun. All right, we're ready for some more basketball now. Spring Valley going to inbound the ball. Lizzie Schaefer to inbound it, and she gets it in to Hannock. Hannock feeds it over to Peabody, who loses the handle on it, and Green takes it down the floor, but the ball gets knocked loose. Inbound pass to Hajdukovic. Puts it up, no good. Rebound by Noel, puts it up, no good. We have a whistle and a jump ball being called. Possession arrow in favor of the Vikings. Goodell to inbound for the Vikings. She feeds it into Hajdukovic. Hajdukovic tries to put the shot up, but it gets batted out of her hands. Best chases it down. Best feeds it off to Noel. Noel tries to get it to Hajdukovic in the lane, but it gets knocked away, and Spring Valley comes away with it. 2:17 to go in the game. Vikings up 71-24. Down the floor comes Hannock. She gets it over to Peabody. Peabody feeds it over to Vaness. Vaness tosses the ball, but it gets out of bounds. It was off of Allison Graham, and the Vikings will have it. Green inbounds it to Best. Full court pressure by Spring Valley, but the Vikings break it without too much difficulty. Over to Noel, back out to Reen. Reen puts up the shot, no good. Hajdukovic with the rebound. They feed it underneath to Best. Best lays it up, no good. Hajdukovic with the putback, and he got it. Jeanette Hajdukovic with 4 points on the night. Down the floor comes Spring Valley. They're on the right side. This is Peabody with it at the baseline. Gets it over to the other side in the left corner to Haddock. Or Hannock, I should say. Now Peabody with it. Gets it out to Graham, puts up a shot, no good. Chased down by Hannock. And the rebound gets taken down by Noel. Long feed to Hajdukovic. Hajdukovic down the floor, lays it up, and it goes in. 75-24, Vikings with the lead. Down the floor come the Cardinals. Peabody tries to feed it into the lane. Nobody was breaking there, and it goes off a Viking leg, so it'll Spring Valley ball. Coming up on 30 seconds to go. Inbound pass to that 54, and it's not the person that we thought it was. She puts up the shot. We have a whistle and a foul. First shot is on the way and off the back of the iron. This is that 54 making the shot. We do not have her name on any of our rosters. We don't have it on the schools roster. We don't have it off the WIS Sports roster. Second shot is also no good, and there's the whistle or the buzzer, and that's the end of the game. Final score, Vikings 75, Spring Valley 24. And we'll be back with Viking postgame right after this timeout.
Roll over. Chance high five. All right. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother and... I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Thank you for joining us for Colfax Viking girls basketball. This has been a presentation of the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV. Stay tuned. Coming up next is Viking Post Game, where we'll take a look back at today's Viking game.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight, both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. Well, not in your hand trying to text somebody back, because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Time now for Viking postgame, with a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking girls game. And now, Viking postgame.
And welcome back to Colfax High School. Rick Olson along with Dan Petchow, and Vikings pretty dominating victory right from the start. The stolen inbound pass to start the game kind of set the tone for the whole game. Vikings 74, Spring Valley Cardinals, or Vikings 75, Spring Valley Cardinals 24, and we are waiting on Coach Sarar. So while we wait, Dan, why don't you let us know how we got to those points?
Yeah, here's the scores for Spring Valley tonight. Their leading scorer was number 32, Charlie Vaness, with 10 points, followed by Maddie Olson with 6. We had Mara Ducklow, Caitlin Graham, and Paige Peabody, and number 54 that we didn't have. They all had 2 points. For the Colfax Vikings, this might take me a minute. They had 10 girls with points tonight. And there was 2 girls that led the team tonight. We had number 32, Jasmine Best, and number 14, Bailey Bradford. They both had 12 points, followed by Maddie Bartz that had 10. We had Addison Olson with 9. We had Marissa Harmon, Emily Bertram Schofield, and Jeanette Hajdukovic with 6. We had Jasmine Paulus with 5. We had McKenna Ship with 4. We had Riley Parker with 3. And that comes out to 75 points.
Okay, those top scorers again for the Vikings. We had several in double digits tonight. Let's see, what was that? That was
Bailey Bradford and Jasmine Best with 12 points to lead the team.
and Marissa Harmon had another 10.
Marissa Harmon had 6. Maddie Barstead had 10.
Maddie Barstead had 10. Okay. I'm trying to read it over your shoulder here. It's kind of hard to do. I'll tell you what, we'll give Coach Serrar a few more minutes to get back up here, and we'll take a little bit of a timeout. You're tuned to Viking Postgame on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
NLWN-TV is excited to bring you NWA ice racing action. However, due to the ice conditions on Lake Wissota, this weekend's races have been relocated to Anderson Lake in Humber, Wisconsin. Also, due to the port cell service in the Humber area, we will need to bring you Saturday's races on Sunday, January 17th. Our coverage will begin at 11 a.m. on NLWN-TV. Be sure to join us on Sunday, January 17th at 11 for NWA ice racing action.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon? You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
And we're back here at Colfax High School, and coming up to join us is Viking coach Courtney Serrar. And Coach, first of all, congratulations on what sometimes we call a no-doubter.
Yeah, right away from the start of the game, we kind of just, set the tone and showed them that we were here to play, and, it's going to take a lot to be able to play with us. And I was proud of the girls for doing that. I asked them, to do that from the start, and they really came to play, and we're going to have to bring that, it doesn't matter who our opponent is. We always have to make sure that we're ready to play right from the get-go.
In fact, right from the get-go is no exaggeration tonight. It was the opening inbound pass that Maddie Barstead stole, and she didn't score on it, but it sure delivered a message right away.
Yeah, she's got a huge motor, and, she's quick on her feet. She knows, how to be in the position, and she took advantage of them, and I don't think they were quite expecting that much pressure, and we didn't get a basket out of it, but I think it set the tone right away.
And you put on full court pressure throughout most of the first half, and the girls seemed to react to that real well and forced a number of turnovers. We were talking about it, that there were a lot of times that Spring Valley was trying to pass the ball, and it was going through Colfax hands. You might not have gotten a turnover out of it or something, but you were disrupting their offense.
Yeah, that was one thing that we worked on in practice this week is, if you're going to have an effective press, you're going to have to get tips and touches. So, it could just be, a simple just graze of the fingers, and the next thing you know, it's landing in someone else's hands. Just that little bit can slow down.
And even if they keep possession, it throws them out of what they wanted to do.
Right, exactly. And then so if you get a tip and touch, you might be able to take advantage of their next pass, whatever it may be. But without that, they could just whip the ball around. So we want to make sure that we, get all of those in the right spots.
Well, you don't get 51-point victories very often, Coach. So enjoy this one with the girls because they earned it. They worked pretty hard tonight. And they're going to need to bring every bit of that kind of energy on Friday when they host the Mounders.
Yeah, I told them, after the game, enjoy this one for tonight. And then tomorrow we, switch gears and come back and are ready to work hard at practice.
Well, congratulations again, Coach. 75-24 Vikings win over the Spring Valley Cardinals. And we'll have more Viking postgame right after this timeout.
Hey. I can't.
Okay.
If you love me enough to tolerate my perfect little pets and all their glorious dander, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
When I was 10, my mom got deported. We had a difficult time, and I feel that's why I didn't get to finish school. My husband is really supportive in a way that he pushed me to go back to school.
She wants to have a career so her kids can look up to her.
They both keep me motivated to go to school, and they see that if I do it, like, they can do it too, you know? I feel that everything's possible.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made home ownership happen. Homeschooling yourself on loans, beefing up your credit score.
So I'm pre-approved.
You were like, yes! Sorry. Color coding listings, ticking boxes, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. Home sweet home. You aced house hunting. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
And Rick Olson along with Dan Petschow, and we're back here at Colfax High School. And Dan, a 51-point win for the Vikings.
Yeah, good win for Colfax. This will be important going down the stretch with 10 girls in scoring position tonight. That's good when you come to playoff times. They had good ball movement, good team effort, made free throws when they had to, and they stayed out of foul trouble.
And significant scoring by quite a number of girls. It wasn't just a few points here and a few points there. So it was well-balanced, high-powered offense tonight. And that well-balanced, high-powered offense all came from a really aggressive, very active Viking defense.
Yeah, and they played good defense underneath. They got lots of rebounds, kept Spring Valley out of the paint. And when you do that, you're going to get some wins.
There you go. So it was 75-24 for the Vikings tonight. And don't forget that our next Vikings game here on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV is scheduled for Friday, January 15th, when the Viking girls host the Outbound Mounders, as we just talked to Coach about. And Viking pregame will be at 6:55 and live play-by-play at 7:10. And then don't forget, coming up this weekend, the ice racing from Humbird, Wisconsin. The actual event takes place on Saturday, but because of cell phone service and so on down there, we're going to be required to bring it to you as a replay on Sunday starting at 11 o'clock on NLWN-TV. So that's ice racing on the NWIRC circuit. So for Dan Petschow, this is Rick Olson, and you've been tuned to Viking postgame final score once again. Viking 75, Spring Valley 24 on the Northern Light Webcasting Network and NLWN-TV.
Honey, what I think you need is a socket wrench.
I played JV basketball.
I'm sorry. I don't think it looks right.
This is good, and it's all good, baby.
Is it really all good?
If you love me enough to routinely test your handyman skills, not to mention the strength of your marriage, then of course you'll visit nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure I'm in the right car seat.
I'm gonna call my dad.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
You've been listening to Viking Postgame, a wrap-up of today's Colfax Viking girls game. You can catch Colfax Vikings games by tuning in to any of the Northern Light Webcasting Network outlets. This has been a production of the Northern Light Webcasting Network.